Literally one Ryan here. The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I recently read this poetry collection. I had actually heard about it, read a couple of reviews on it back when it first came out. And so I decided to check it out. I read the ebook version of this. And I guess in a way it kind of reminded me of another similar poetry collection, Milk and Honey by Rupi, Kaur. Still not exactly sure how to pronounce that last name, but sorry about that. But yeah, it definitely seems similar in that it's kind of like, except that I will say that with Milk and Honey, that was more about, I guess, a woman's journey into journey towards learning to accept herself, or like just love herself, for being awesomely imperfect. And I mean, I'm really paraphrasing that. So I mean, for this one, it's more of a narrative, I would say. For me, it definitely seemed like more of a narrative, a lot more autobiographical. And so, I mean, it wasn't so much like just talking about or just, describing different feelings or emotions, but also more about, I guess I would say, different ways in which the author, or rather, I guess, poet, dealt with certain things in her lives, certain moments, or different obstacles she's had to deal with. But also, too, I guess, also kind of details how, also how these different situations ultimately made her feel, and ultimately made her more resilient. I would say, I believe that's the correct word, resilient. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this collection, when compared to something like Milk and Honey, this one I felt like seemed to be a little more hopeful. I mean, just the title alone. I remember back when this first came out, and I first came across it in a bookstore somewhere. I didn't even know it was a poetry collection. But I remember just when I first saw the title in a bookstore, and it really caught my attention. And right away, one of the things I thought, well, seems like it's somewhat of a hopeful book of some kind. So, yeah, I mean, and not that, with Milk and Honey, I guess Milk and Honey is also a little bit hopeful. And well, I don't know. I read and reviewed Milk and Honey a while ago. Obviously, I'll provide a link to that if you want to check that out. But as far as this is concerned, yeah, it's definitely the hopefulness for me. It stands out a little more. So, and not only that, I like the way the style of each of these poems. In fact, I would say this isn't to me, it didn't really feel like a typical poetry collection. More like, I guess, more like just a group of poems that, when lumped together, just tell a story, tell an interesting autobiographical story. So, yeah, I'm not sure how else to describe it. I guess ultimately I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. yeah. Actually, I would say there were maybe a couple parts in this that somewhat reminded me of like something that I would have written, because I've written a lot of poems, original poems myself too, but I mean just the style of it, not so much like not the subject matter, but just the style, I guess, in which this author poet wrote it in. So yeah. Although I guess, you could say that about a lot of things, usually when it comes to poetry, most poets tend to, I guess, end up inevitably are influenced by each other or in some way, shape, or form. So, so yeah, that pretty much does it for my review of this. I mean, I guess I would say I do recommend reading it if, you're into this kind of poetry, narrative poetry, but also with a clearly defined, I guess at least somewhat hopeful message. So yeah, once again, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. So that'll do it. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for listening. As always, till next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.